previous programs, you'd have heard me talk about various aspects of racing, mainly the products that you need to put on your motorcycle to be able to do it. But of course, those products have got to be paid for. And if you're not a rich man yourself, then you need to look at some sponsorship. There's some really simple things that you can do to try and raise that, and there's some really obvious mistakes that people make when they're trying to raise it. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about just how you go about getting sponsorship, some of the tricks that you need to consider. I hope you learned something from it, and good luck with your racing. When it comes to looking for sponsorship, there's certain points you need to remember. Why does somebody want to sponsor you? Well, you might say, and the classic mistake is, I can put your name on the side of my bike, I can put your name on the side of my van. That's all well and good, but if people don't actually recognise that name, or if it's not descriptive in what it says, it's very difficult for somebody to be able to put that into any tangible form that they can equate that to the money that they're going to give you. So think about, what does the business do that you're talking to? Do they sell things? Well, most businesses that get involved want to sell stuff. So why don't you try and help them do that? You could go out to a sponsor and maybe you get some free product from a trade sponsor, an oil sponsor or a chain manufacturer or sprockets, whatever it might be. Well, why don't you take those products, instead of using them yourself, take them to your local newspaper and offer them as prizes in exchange for articles being put in that local paper about you and about your sponsor. They're going to get free advertising, you've gotten free product, and you're putting it to far better use than just physically using it for yourself. Why don't you consider hospitality, just like you see that we have here? Now obviously you may not have the ability to be able to put something on like this, but you could put something on a smaller scale, or you could buy into somebody else's, someone else that's already running something like that. So give that some consideration. The other thing is, a lot of business gets done on a golf course. Well, if it gets done on a golf course, why can't it be done in a paddock? Why not bring some of your customers along? And be careful who you pick as sponsors. As for instance, if you've got a plumber, a local plumber who's offering you some form of sponsorship, then why don't you go and talk to a plumbing supplying company? Why don't you put those two together around a table to talk and to eat and do some business? That's how business is done. And one small contract in business could be many thousands to a sponsor. And all of a sudden, what he's giving you pales into insignificance, and you've added real value to his or her business. So give those sorts of points a little bit of consideration, and make sure that when you get to the racetrack, you've got your CV there. Go and put it up in front of the commentary box. They're always looking for something to talk about, but they can only talk about what they know. And if you haven't made the effort to take your stuff up there, put it in front of them and talk about you, then the chances of you getting mentioned are fairly slim, unless you're right at the front end. If you want to get great publicity out the track, you either need to be first or you need to be lapped. But if you want to get some publicity from your commentators, all you've got to do is put your CV down in front of them. These are some real simple things, and I hope they're going to give you some kind of idea or fire you up and give you some inspiration about what maybe you could do with the tools that you've already got from your possibly product sponsors or even maybe some money sponsors. But just don't take my word for it. Why don't we go and have a chat with a few of the sponsors of the Triple Challenge and see what they've got to say? There are a series of Triumph dealers that have joined the championship this year, each one of them sponsoring individual riders. The gentleman I have over here is David Lilly from Jack Lilly Motorcycles in Ashford, Middlesex. David's the managing director of the operation. This year he's sponsoring Ben Miller in the championship. I'm going to ask him a few questions about why he decided to get involved with the championship this year. David, I know we had a first point of contact and we talked about ways that you could possibly get involved with the championship. You took it up. What was the key thing for you and for your business that made you think, yeah, all right, I'm going to have a go at this?
It's relatively an inexpensive way for us as a dealer to get involved into racing. There's obviously hundreds of thousands of people that come to the circuits to watch and also see it on the TV. We get good exposure, and hopefully there could be some promise in the a young rider like Ben that could go on to greater things and then remember us when he's rich and famous.
When he's rich and famous, Mr. 10% then.
That's it.
Ben's had a difficult start to the season, but he's picking up now. He's coming up toward the sort of top 10 in the pack. It's not always about winning though, is it?
No, it's not, no. it's that same old that saying, taking part as well. We've been involved in racing ourselves for a long time. Since '98, we started with Triumph 595, and we had our own race team, and then sort of more or less a grassroots level really, but that's sort of watched by thousands. Is fantastic for us.
And no doubt on Monday morning when you're sat down at your desk, somebody's going to walk in, and a customer, a new one or an existing one, and say, I either saw you on the telly, or I saw Jack Lilly's there, or I saw Jack Lilly's rider, and it's a great way of striking up a conversation.
I think it's part of it. It's all very well us as dealers sort of putting an advert in a magazine, but to get involved in with the bikes is just fantastic. That's what it's all about.
Well, there's some examples of why Jack Lilly's have got involved with the championship. I hope that gives you one or two clues. We're going to have a talk to a couple of other people, see if we can find you some more inspiration. Let me introduce you to two of our major sponsors. This is Jane and Mick, directors of both TDG and LPR, two businesses that have a synergy and work together. But they've come along for the Triumph Triple Challenge for their own set of reasons. So I'm going to ask them a couple of questions about that. Jane, and Mick, I met you both together, and you came in, you've been primary sponsors of the championship for 4 years now. Now, you've got nothing to do with motorcycle racing, you've got nothing to do with that trade. So what made you decide to get involved?
We got involved, TDG, on the premise that it's a British series, British bikes, and we just felt it was a way of supporting a new championship. We've never been involved in motorcycle racing previously, and we have customers that are closet bikers, if you want to call it that. And I think for us it's sort of grown. The way that the championship has evolved over the last 3-4 years, and the exposure. I don't know, frankly, whether it's something that actually leads to hard development for us, but it seems good to be involved in it. It's an opportunity for people in our business to come and have a look and spend a day out, and we just like the atmosphere and the camaraderie, and there's a good buzz about it. There's a good feel about it.
It's a great team atmosphere. It's just so nice that sort of people are able to work together. Off the track, everybody's as they're working as a team. On the track, yes, they're all fighting because they want to win. But I think it's fantastic. It's a fantastic example actually of collaboration, teamwork, people coming together. It's great.
So there you go. There's some ideas there. Two big companies, major companies, blue chip companies that are involved with racing. Are they involved with it because they're getting sales out of it? No, they're not. They're involved with it because they thoroughly enjoy the sport, because they enjoy the atmosphere, and because they can come along, empathise with the riders, they can bring their customers along on a day out, and they can empathise with the riders. So it's not always about cash. Sometimes sponsorship comes from providing money can't buy experiences, and all of you can do that. Show your customers up to the grid and give them a checkered flag. Take them up the control tower and show them how it all works. It's money can't buy experiences, and they'll love you for it, and they'll stick with you for it. Good luck with your racing, good luck with your sponsorship.